Welcome to the Not Move podcast. We have episode 2 of the Denver Broncos edition. It's going to be me, atrain, and Southgate breaking down some of the Denver Broncos' most current roster moves, current preseason games, pretty much the Broncos as a whole. We only have a few more weeks here till the season starts. So, how you doing, Southgate?
I'm doing good. I just realized Ja looks like Darth Maul on the intro picture.
yeah, yeah,
He
he's
might
a
have been a
character.
stunt double.
He's a, he's always hiding under his hoodie for some
Yeah.
reason. He might be wanted. I don't know. We just don't know what's going on
But
with
I
him half
feel
the
a
time.
lot better after the last preseason game, actually.
Yeah, you seemed a little concerned after the last one or the one
Yeah, I seen
before.
some stuff out of the receivers I liked. No matter who ran the ball, I seen yards per carry, so that all moved me. But you could
Yeah.
start it off.
All right. So I just wanted to kind of break down some of the current news. This today, I just was reading today that we cut a linebacker. His name's JB Brown. These are obviously going to be either practice squad players or preseason players, hoping to make the 53-man roster. Right. So we cut a linebacker. His name was JB Brown. Don't really know the guy. Don't know. Haven't heard much about him. We signed a defensive tackle today, so I guess we're adding depth at defensive tackle. We had an offensive lineman that tore his ACL in the preseason game last week or this last game, and again, these are all just going to be role players, bench players. So nothing to break down too much on those guys. The more important news is going to be like some of our key defensive players, right? The two key defensive players returning to practice this week are going to be Nick Benito with a foot injury and Dre Greenlaw with the quad injury. Those two guys will be practicing in full all week, so nothing concerning there as it comes to injuries with our two main pass rushers and linebackers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I said, I've always said Greenlaw. I'm not that worried about. I wouldn't even mind if he just walked through practice because he's a veteran. So I mean, he knows what it is to get hit and everything. Benito, obviously want to see healthy, but Greenlaw, I rather them not over practice him. Just let him
Yeah.
do walkthroughs and let him stay healthy for the season.
Yeah, and then I guess the only major injury that we really have to be concerned about heading into week 1 against the Tennessee Titans is going to be Drew Sanders. He's a linebacker that plays for us. He got first foot surgery this earlier this week. Sounds like surgery went well, and he is the only one really questionable for week 1 as of right now. The other two notable injuries that the current status of the Broncos that the injuries bug has hit is Michael Burton, our fullback, has a hamstring injury, and then Damari Mathis, I think he's probably our fifth string corner. He has an undisclosed injury. So Michael Burton, our fullback, not a huge hit. I mean, a fifth string corner, not a huge hit. The Drew Sanders one is one we definitely I think need to monitor throughout. What's going on right now during the preseason because I'd like to have everyone fully healthy, but the injury bug has not hit as hard, which is a positive sign. You know what I mean?
I mean, we all know what our secondary is. What do you think a bigger question is, our linebackers or our defensive line?
To me, it's gonna be the D line.
It's going to
Or
be
I
the
mean,
run stopping, right?
yeah, that's the part I'm concerned about, and it's because looking back at last season, I know this is a different team compared to this year, but last season the big thing that stood out to me was James Cook. James Cook torched us in that Buffalo game. We could not stop the run, right?
Yep.
That was the big thing that stood out to me mostly in that game is Josh Allen, he played good, but we didn't put a lot of pressure on him because they were able to run the ball at will, in my opinion.
Yep. They ran it right down our throats. And that's pretty much what happens is, when you get time of possession, you take the ball out of the hands, couple three and outs, and your defense is dog tired. And
Yep.
at that point, it doesn't matter how good your defense is. If they're on the field too long, it's more and more they're going to give up.
Right. So this week on the slate, we have the New Orleans Saints coming. Right, that's our next team that we're playing. Not too concerned about them. I see the Saints being probably one of the worst teams in the league. So we'll really find out where we're at. Did you know as of right now we have the best point differential after all the preseason games so far? We have the best plus minus. So we defeated the San Francisco 49ers 30-9, right? And then we defeated the Arizona Cardinals 27-7. So the Broncos right now look good in the preseason, which is definitely a positive sign.
Yeah, I mean, even though Bo Nix didn't play last week, I mean, I'm not worried about him. I love the way the receivers looked. I mean, and to see that, especially see Ingram make that catch, it's he looks healthy. I think he's a big key too. Him staying healthy, um, and Pat Bryant looked more than positive. I mean, especially on that 3rd and 15, getting that 18-yard catch. I think I actually called you when it happened. I was so happy.
Yeah, I think yeah, we were watching the game and we were talking about it. I think there's going to be five big key players on our offense that are definitely we don't know what they're going to be, but if they pan out to be great additions, it's going to put us over the top. And that's R.J. Harvey, obviously, right? J.K. Dobbins. If we can have a good, backfield, a split backfield with R.J. Harvey catching passes out of the backfield, he's even running the ball. And J.K. Dobbins, if he can stay healthy, I feel like just a better running game because Bo Nix was the leading rusher on our team last year, which it's never a good sign when your starting quarterback it has more yards than your running back room. You know what I mean?
Yep. Now, I was actually talking to a San Francisco fan, and he said he said back in 23 when the Funga made the All Pro, and I don't know if you've noticed this in the preseason you watched, or any practices you watched. He said his only problem with Nafunga was he felt like he was too slow getting to the ball. Have you seen that, or?
I haven't personally. I mean, and Moss, he always razzes me all the time about we shouldn't get our hopes up for Tolonga Fafanga,
Yeah.
but I think Hufanga is definitely could be a key addition to our defense. Like the other key guys on offense, I think Troy Franklin, Pat Bryant, they both had really good games, right? I think that they both could be definitely key parts to our offense. Like you had mentioned earlier, that nice big run, catch and run by Evan Ingram. I think is the little bit of stuff that we need, right? We talk to people all day about sports, right? And the big thing is they are saying, well, we don't know what to expect out of the Broncos offense. If we can run the ball consistently, right, and get 4 to 5 yards of carry, and then we can make some of these no name receivers that we have a household name. Pat Bryant, I mean, you like you said, you talked to James White. He's really high on the kid. What we
Yeah.
saw from the last game. I mean, what was his stat line? Do you remember his stat line?
4 for 70
Yeah, 4 for 70. If we can get even close to that kind of
on only
production,
5 targets. A train.
and that's what I'm saying. If we can get even close to that production in the regular season, that's huge, right? Troy
Yep.
Franklin had a big game. Vele can be a big part of our game of our team, and like I said, Evan Ingram. I think that security blanket with Bo Nix being able to have that security blanket with Evan Ingram, and that'd be great if this guy pans out to be a top 10. Like we know he can be. He can be a top 10 tight end. If this guy is even somewhat of a shell of himself and can be that security blanket for Bo Nix, I see that being a huge upgrade to our offense.
Oh yeah, no, tremendously huge, and I'm very excited for the season. You know me, I don't like to jump the gun here and put us in all types of places, but like I said, as long as Bo Nix don't take any type of sophomore slump, I really don't see, besides injury, what else could hurt our team.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, today I was looking at this, right? I look at our defense on paper, right? And I think our defense is going to keep us in a lot of games. I think the offense, they don't need to be like the Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Chase Brown, right? We don't have those big names, but that's what I think is also going to happen for the Bengals. The Bengals have enough firepower on offense to keep them in games. I think on the reverse side, our defense is good enough to keep us in games, right? I'm looking on paper right now, right? And I got Zach Allen as a defensive end. I got John Franklin Myers at his defensive end. I got DJ Jones as our nose tackle. I got Jonathan Cooper as a linebacker. Alex Singleton as a linebacker. Dre Greenlaw as a linebacker. Nick Benito. All right. And then you look at our DBs, right? We got PS2. We got Jade Barron. We got Riley Moss. We got Hufanga. We got Brandon Jones. I mean, these are all big time defensive players that played good last year. And as a collective unit, if this team can stay healthy, I think this defense is the best in the league.
Uh, the only person I see coming in close to us is Baltimore.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think the Texans have a good defense. I think the Eagles have a good defense. I mean, there's a lot of good defenses out there, but on paper, before this season starts, I
Yep.
think the Denver Broncos have the best defense in the whole league.
Yep. And I think we're going to see it week one, but I don't know. I got that. You know me, I'm a superstitious guy. I got this feeling like we're going to get a scare week one against the Titans. I hope
Yeah.
not.
Yeah. Cam Ward going on the road. I mean, on paper, I don't want to start the season out on a trap game, right? A
Exactly.
rookie quarterback starting on the road against arguably the best defense in the league. I don't see them beating us. I see we start the season out hot. I see that right now.
I'm 100% behind you. I mean, is real. I mean, everything I've seen so far, I have no problems with. I,
And then
I mean, I wish there was something that I could pick out and you know pick apart, but there's really nothing I'm disappointed in right now.
and even like just because we're gonna have watch parties, right? So we decided that like either during the game or the day after the game, say when we play the Chiefs, right? We're gonna have a little podcast where it's me and you, Chief and JB, right? Looking forward to it, right? Well, these teams that we play, we're gonna have a little conversation on how the game went, how the game's going. I'm excited for these things for the upcoming season. I think it's awesome that we have a team that is built to win. And I think that it's a young team, it's a hungry team, and I feel like we have made the offseason moves to put us in contention to win playoff games, to at least make a race for the division, right? We hear it all the time, right? People are hyping us up. I see Denver winning that division. I got Denver winning that division, and I'm really not trying to feed into the hype too much, and I don't want to get my hopes up too much, but where there's smoke, there's fire, right? And if the Broncos catch fire at the right time, Kansas City needs to watch out, right? The Chargers need to
I
watch out.
agree with you.
I don't even
I
want to
agree with you
mention the
one hundred
Raiders.
percent.
Yeah, I'm not
No,
a big red. Go ahead.
The Raiders pose no threat to me.
No,
They
I
they
I
they
think
really don't.
I think they're at least a good 2 to 3 years out from even being. They might be 500. They're going to be lucky to be 500, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean their offensive line was I think bottom 10 last year. They still have a true number one, but there are a lot of pieces away. Um, I tell you, I'm more worried about the Chargers than the Chiefs.
Right. Yeah, I'm right there with you. The Chargers swept us last year, right? They only won one game more than us, but for some reason we have not gotten over that hill yet. We have not been able to pull out a win against that Chargers team, and that Chargers team does look improved. So they are definitely a threat in the AFC West. It's crazy having a competitive division like this, right? Be easy if we were the Texans and we were in that division, or if we were the Buccaneers in that division. I think that, you know, having to win in a tough division like this really tells you where you're going to stand. And there's going to be some key games on the schedule that I think that are going to be key games that will show us who we are, right? It's obviously when you compare us to our division, our top division rivals, right? The Chiefs, the Chargers. Those two games are going to tell us a lot, right? I think that Eagles game in week 5, I think that's a huge game, right?
Now, yeah, well, the Eagles game. I actually heard a couple Eagles fans saying that they were worried about Denver, thinking they're going to lose that game.
Yeah.
I don't see us winning at Philly. I mean, if we could keep it close and keep it a game, I'd be happy. But I actually want to ask you a question. We got possibly 4 Hall of Fame coaches in our division. Do you think Sean Payton could be out coached by any of them? Like, which coach is your biggest worry?
It's Andy Reid. It's got to be Andy Reid, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we know Harbaugh. We know his forte is running the ball and playing good defense, right? If
But I mean, who do you think has a better defense on paper, Chiefs or Chargers?
I personally, I think it's the Chiefs, right? The Chargers, they took, I wouldn't say they took a step back, but I mean they lost Bosa, right? Bosa, he battled injury problems, which is, but when he was out on that field, Bosa was a key contributor. I always would see him line up on that defensive line, and I'm like, oh yeah, they got Bosa, right? Khalil Mack's getting older, right? There's certain things on the Chargers defense that aren't super scary, right? You know what scares me? Trent McDuffie on that Chiefs defense. Jones on the defensive line. He's
Yeah.
definitely one of the best defensive linemen in the league, right? They have a list. I think the Chiefs have a list of players that play really well, and the Chargers, I mean, I would if I had to go one way or the other, I think the Chiefs have a better defense than the Chargers. What do you think?
Um, I think the I think the Chiefs do have a better defense than the Chargers, but for some reason, I think the Chargers defense, at least last year, matched up better against us.
Yeah, for some
If
reason
that
they
makes
do match
sense.
up. Yeah, no, for some reason that defense does cause troubles, right? For us more than the Chiefs did, right? And
Yeah,
that's why
I think
I
overall, yeah, I God.
no, you're good. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I think overall it's the Chiefs, but I mean, when it comes to us playing them, I think the Chargers just have our number defensively like that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because we underestimate them and we have more momentum going into those Chiefs games. Because to me, I think the Chiefs have the better defense. I honestly do think the Chiefs have a lot better defense. And I don't know, for some reason, we just have not gotten over that hump. Like for them to be able to sweep us is pretty crazy.
Maybe the Chargers just have the better defensive coach.
All right. See what Cody said. So sounds like Cody's saying he doesn't agree. I don't know if he's not agreeing with the Charger take or the Chiefs take, but yeah, I mean, I personally I think that the Chiefs have the better defense. I mean, that's my personal opinion. Especially on paper, I look at their team top to bottom, and I think that they have the better defense than the Chargers.
Cody thinks the Chargers have the better defense.
I think that's what he's saying. Yeah, Chargers defense is better, is what he said.
I mean, it's very close. I mean, it's definitely a 1A 1B thing. I don't think they're miles apart.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that they're miles apart either. I mean, they're pretty close, especially just how we played against both teams. The Chargers definitely gave us more of a run for our money. I mean, realistically, we could have definitely swept the Chiefs, right? We were a blocked field goal away from sweeping the Chiefs. When's the
Yes.
last time we've been able to do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's been a long time. It's been
And
a long time.
maybe, yeah, Chargers defense is definitely not better on paper or on field, is what JB said. It's close, but I think that the Chargers' best thing about them last year was their defense. So yeah, I think Bo's
I
he's
mean,
leaning.
if we're looking at it that way, the best thing about them the last 2 years was their defense.
Yeah, I mean, arguably, right? And
Yeah.
like, so realistically, how do you see this wrapping up come season end? Are you thinking that all three teams are going to make the playoffs? Do you think it's going to be all three?
I mean, it, it's gonna be close. I mean, it all depends. Is I don't know what Pittsburgh's gonna bring to the table, and I don't know what Cincinnati's gonna bring to the table. I mean, but at the end of the day, I think the Broncos and the Chargers are better teams than Pittsburgh and Cincinnati.
Right. I think the tough thing is going to be, there can only be one division winner, right?
Hmm.
And we've seen through the years it's going to take probably, maybe it might even take more than ten wins to get in this year, right?
Yep. Well, we're actually no, we're not playing that division this year. I'm sorry.
So how do you see this wrapping up? Because I have the Chiefs winning the division again. All right. I see them winning 12 to 13 games, right? And then I see us and the Chargers might be tied in second. I'm seeing 11 wins from both teams, right? I can definitely even see the Chargers winning 12 games and us being in third. I'm really hoping that doesn't happen, but I'm being a realist here, right? I mean, this can totally go different ways with injuries and how the season plays out, but I think the Broncos improve at least by one more game.
I mean, I think either way, I mean, anyone who gets into the playoffs, that last seed is going to need at least 10 wins.
Right.
That's just the way I feel.
Like, yeah, I don't think nine wins. I don't think is going to get you in. I think
No.
there's going to be multiple teams, right, in the AFC playoff race that have 9, 10 wins that are going to be banking on for teams to lose and win, right? Kind of like Cincinnati was rooting for us to lose, right? They needed Miami to lose and they needed Denver to lose and they had to win.
Yeah.
Like multiple things needed to happen in order for them to get in, right? I see that definitely happening again. Like it might come down to we need to play all of our starters the last week of the season because it's a must-win game. You know what I mean?
But how nice would it be to just rest them the last week?
Yeah. When's the last time we were able to do that? And we've been fighting for our playoff lives for how many years now? If we've
Yeah.
even had a chance at making the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I see it. I think that the additions that we've made definitely put us in the race come playoff time. If I can get a playoff win, I'm gonna be happy. I think, like I said, like the Broncos probably are a season or two out, right, from actually being a major threat in the AFC. How do you see it? Like, do you see us having a playoff win this year? Because I can see us, if especially if we can get a home playoff game. If we can get a home playoff game, I think that's huge. I think it'd be huge for us to actually be able to play at home, right? When you have a home field advantage, or even just if you can have a home playoff game first part of the season of the playoffs, I mean, that I think that is huge, right? I think that you can make progress. I want to see progress. That's the main thing I want to see from my Denver Broncos this year. I want to see a step forward. I definitely don't want to see a step back. I think a step back, you don't want to regress. Basically, you don't want to regress. You want to see improvement. If Bo Nix, let's say Bo Nix's stats drop a little, all right, that's going to be a little disheartening, right? But the defense is holding teams to, very little points, 14, 17 points, right? I think that's a huge step forward. If it can just be an improvement on defense, if Bo Nix can just increase his stats a little bit more than last year, whether it be touchdowns or yardage, the running game, right? The running game is going to be a big part of this. I think if you add a very how can I word this? An impactful running game to this offense, I think that the Broncos can go a long way. I think that the key additions of J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey, I think that those two alone can give us a 1-2 punch enough to run the ball a lot better than we did last year, right? I was looking at Javonte Williams' stats for last year, right? Javonte, like hitting his stats didn't, pop out on paper. And maybe this is why we didn't resign the guy, right? And this is why he's playing for the Cowboys now. He's never really panned out and been what we needed. And he didn't, we were in a committee share. You had Audric Estime, right? You had other guys there actually getting carries too, but it wasn't productive enough to have more rushing yards than Bo Nix. If our quarterback is getting more rushing yards than our starting running back, that's a problem. And that was a key addition that I feel like the Broncos made this offseason is bringing in new running backs and guys that can make an impact on running the ball. And like I said, we have a lot of young wide receivers that are going to have to step up. Outside of Cortland Sutton, right? We got Pat Bryant, we got Troy Franklin, we got Vele. Like it's a young wide receiver room where Marvin Mims. There's going to be one of these guys, right? Is going to have to take the next step forward in order for us to be a contender, be a legitimate contender where we can win a playoff game. And I think, with the hype coming around the offseason this year, I think that, I don't want to get my hopes up too much, but the Broncos are here and we're relevant again. And I can't wait for the season to start. I can't wait to be able to watch my Broncos play every Sunday. And, it's a big thing for me to be proud over my team again, right? It's been a while. It's been a while that I could hold my head high and, be able to talk crap to people about my team. So looks like I lost Southgate. Pretty much I'm just going to end this podcast and just want to tell you guys to have a good week. And we will see you on our main podcast coming up. I want to say Not Moved podcast out. My high salute. See you guys next time.